So, welcome back to Web3 Insights. I'm your host, Aaron Hayhurst, and today we're joined by Chase, who is the founder of Neptune Finance. Neptune Finance is the new standards in DeFi lending and borrowing with its next generation credit network. From their innovative PID controller optimizing rates to their upcoming token generation event, Neptune Finance is focused on creating capital efficient solutions for lenders, borrowers, and DeFi service providers. Let's explore how Neptune Finance is reshaping the DeFi landscape. Chase, thank you so much for coming on.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
No, you're welcome. Chase, let's start with the story behind Neptune Finance. What was it that inspired you to build a next generation credit network, and what challenges in DeFi lending were you sort of aiming to solve?
Well, we've been building for almost 3 years now. So the team originally started on the Terra blockchain, which was a good experience to say the least. But we did have to pivot. We were originally an integration into a money market. So what Neptune originally was it was automating the borrow side of a money market by taking on a loan in order to do leveraged yield farming. And if the
Okay.
cost of the loan ever exceeded the yield from the yield farm, then it would stop borrowing for the period of time where it wasn't additionally profitable. So it was a really interesting tool. It was a vault that we built. That's what we started the project as. And then Terra collapsed and UST, which was the stable coin that was built around, no longer existed. And we had to pivot. And it was honestly less than a week. And our team was very committed to stay together. We were, throwing different ideas at the board. And then one of our smart contract engineers just kind of threw out like, I don't know why nobody created a money market with a better control system in place, something that actually encourages borrowers to come in, because the market that we were looking to automate was really short on borrowers. So we saw a big opportunity there and we just started building. At first, we were launching it on the revived Terra chain, and eventually a lot of the systems started to decay. Things that we were building, we were seeing we had to rebuild. So eventually we had to pivot again, moving over to Injective, where we found a lot of support, a great home, and that's where we've launched. And we've been live there since January of 2024.
Amazing. So an exciting journey so far. Neptune's focus on capital efficiency is, a game changer for lenders and borrowers as well. Can you explain how your PID controller sort of dynamically adjusts interest rate curves to, narrow the spread and optimize savings?
Yeah, it sometimes it sounds too good to be true when you realize that we can offer better rates for both lenders and borrowers. But that's the power of capital efficiency. So the way I like to explain it is, let's take another market, some market on Aave, for instance. You could have a situation where, let's say, hypothetically, $100 is lent, but only $10 is borrowed. And in that scenario, you may have a borrow rate that's exorbitantly high, like 20, 30%, and a lend rate that's laughably low, like 0.5%. And in that scenario, it's really not conducive to encouraging more growth.
Sure.
The issue there is the borrow rate's too high to encourage borrowers to then make the market more efficient. Borrowers are the ones who pay the yields to lenders. Without borrowers, you're not getting any yields for your lenders. So with Neptune's system, instead of just sitting there and waiting for borrowers to come in and take a bad rate, it's going to continuously lower that borrow rate until we've found the right proportion of borrowers to lenders. And so by targeting this utilization amount, utilization being borrowed divided by amount lent, we could target a certain percentage that's healthy for the market so that we have the right proportion of borrowers for lenders at any given moment. Obviously, the market will shift around, but then the rates will adjust to constantly encourage the right amount of borrowing. Compare that back to the Aave market, and it'll just sit there, and maybe governance will make a change, or maybe they'll put rewards on borrowing, or they'll do something to try to almost artificially move it in balance. But until that kickstart goes in place, or it gets put in place, it just kind of sits in this less efficient state. Especially for non-stable coins, any volatile coins are going to be far less utilized on these platforms.
Amazing stuff. Neptune recently conducted a lend rate competition study to compare rates across money markets. What were the key findings from this study, and how does Neptune sort of stand out in terms of rates and efficiency?
Sure. Yeah. The lend rate study was kind of our cheeky way of just putting our abilities right in front of everybody else and stacking them up. So we put $100 of
Yeah.
USDT and USDC into 10 different protocols, including Neptune. And we're approaching our second month now. But after our first month, we were blowing ahead of the competition. We were 1.8 times and 2.5 times above the number 2 spot for both USDC and USDT, respectively.
That's
Now that's
incredible.
only 1 month, so let's wait for more results to come in. But we are clearly pushing ahead, and sometimes users have a hard time understanding, like, it's a variable rate. Can I really assume that I'm going to get a high return? So this competition was our way of just putting it all to the test and giving you actual results. And by starting with $100, it's pretty easy to understand what the real results will be after 1 month, 2 months, a year.
Promising signs early on, though.
Yeah, yeah. So far, so good. We're hopefully we take the crown at the end of the year. But even if we don't, that honestly could be success of the campaign as well, because we could have encouraged a whole bunch of lenders to come in, therefore driving our rates back down, and therefore that's a success too. So whether we win or lose, as long as there's growth in the platform and there's more eyeballs in DeFi lending and hopefully comparing it to TradFi markets, then that's a win overall.
Yeah, 100%. Completely agree. You mentioned that Neptune is built to serve thousands of DeFi service providers and protocol developers. How does the platform cater specifically to their needs, and what unique features make it attractive for builders in particular?
Sure. So when we first started building Neptune, our smart contract main engineer, he asked us, do we want all these bells and whistles? This could be good for that. This could be good for this. He said we can get it up faster. Excuse me. We can get it up faster if we don't include all the bells and whistles, but we're going to want to add them later, and it's going to be more complicated to add them later into a live product than it would be to just build it all from scratch with as much composability as possible, and that's what we did. So some of the decisions we made is we separated the lend and borrows from the collateral. So you can choose to lend a token and then use it as collateral, or you can use just a base token as collateral, allowing users to take a choice on which risks they'd like or which types of composability they'd like. And then the more builder focused features, flash loans would be the first one. Flash
Nice.
loans are incredibly useful for building a arbitrage or liquidation tool. A flash loan allows you to take on a debt for one block only without needing the collateral requirements typically needed in order to borrow these funds. And in having only one block, well, you need to pay it back within the same block. That's what allows the platform to allow this to happen securely. And in that block, you could do other interactions like arbitrage at the third market, or make a liquidation happen, perhaps on Neptune or on another lending market. As long as it's paid back within the same block, you get to keep whatever profits are made in that block. So it's a very useful tool, especially for those that are a little more DeFi savvy on the developer side.
Fantastic. So, we're at a stage at the moment, of course, where, we're entering really exciting sort of time within the space at the moment. There's a huge buzz around the space right now, particularly with how well the crypto market and everything is doing. Looking towards the future then, with your token generation event launching in early December, I believe, is that right?
But yeah, that's the
Yeah.
current game plan.
Can you share what the community can expect, and how will the token sort of integrate into Neptune's ecosystem and drive engagement?
Yeah, like when building the platform, wanting to make sure we include as many features as possible. The same thing is true for the token. We didn't want to launch a token and have it just exist as a token with no real use, or staking and no real other use. So we want to make sure every user group has something that is exciting for them for holding onto the NEP token, or staking the NEP token, I should say. So for borrowers, they will get an account health boost. So when they stake, they get to choose an account they would like to boost, and it won't give you more borrowing capacity per se, but it will increase the threshold that it'll take for you to get liquidated, essentially increasing your health on your account, and allowing you to maybe push your limits a little bit further, because that comfort zone has been boosted a little bit. We also are going to token gate the flash loans. So developers will need to stake the NEP token in order to access flash loans. This just allows a little bit more buy-in from developers to be part of the Neptune ecosystem if they're going to be tapping into its features. And then for users, we're looking at Q1, possibly Q2 of 2025, releasing a program called Circles. Now, our Circles program is designed to flip the ambassador model on its head. We don't want referral codes or anything like that. What we want is people to compete, more or less creators, perhaps yourself, Aaron. You could create a circle. You can deliver content either exclusively to your circle or completely free and open for everybody. And you can encourage Neptune users to join your circle, meaning you don't need to send them a link or anything like that. They can discover you directly from the Neptune platform. And if they like your content, they like what you're doing, they can choose to join your circle. And in doing that, their TVL, essentially, although we won't measure it exactly as TVL, but it's easier to understand. Their TVL on the platform will be allocated to your circle in a way which will allow your circle to earn rewards for you and perhaps other circle leaders if you choose to have other circle leaders. Then this gives you a special space on the Neptune platform. You can get discovered from new users, but you can also promote it if you choose to. There would be similar to like a validator set, a set of these circles that are in the top reward earning group. So you need to be competitive. You need to be providing, better content or something to get the Neptune users to join your circle instead of another circle. And in doing this, you can create your own community, but it can be your sub-community specific to lending, borrowing, or building. And if you stop delivering content to your circle, then someone else can come up and rise the ranks, take the spot, and deliver value in a different way. So that's one interesting feature that we're going to be rolling out for users as well. And then there's also going to be rewards and governance built into the token, and then advanced analytics, which we might be able to have up at the end of Q4, but probably Q1. Anybody who's staking will have access to additional analytics, things that we've been collecting already due to like liquidations or rates across injective, something like that. We've already been preparing a lot of this data. We're just going to package it and then give it to our stakers.
Amazing. That sounds really cool. Definitely have to read more into that. Is there more information on that, just for the audience perspective as well, online on your website and of particularly in and sort of around the circles?
Yeah, so far all that we've released is in our roadmap. We have just a short paragraph explaining the Circles program and kind of what it means. It's nothing more than what I've explained in this podcast so far. But do pay attention to our socials. Like I said, probably looking at Q1, Q2 is when this program will be live. We've got it conceptualized, but developers are busy building out the token features and the V2 for Neptune at the moment. So it'll be one of their next tasks that I'll get them working on.
Amazing. I'll definitely keep an eye out for that one for sure. Where do you see DeFi lending and borrowing sort of heading in the next few years? And how is, Neptune itself positioning to remain at the forefront of that evolution as well?
Sure. We see DeFi definitely growing in its market share. The traditional markets, especially at the current time, we're now going back into lower rates, meaning the 5% US risk-free rate is slipping away. Now it's getting less and less attractive for savers, so people are looking for new options. We see this growing, but we also see it growing in the TradFi arena more so than the retail. The retail is coming back, but especially for injective, a lot of inroads have been made into TradFi players, and they are trying to get their offerings on chain in some way, shape, or form, whether that's through a RWA style token, whether it's based on a treasury bill backed or if it's a new type of stablecoin. That's where we're seeing the TradFi players coming in. And I think this energy brought from traditional finance coming into DeFi is then going to drive the retail side and then the builder side. To have a good baseline of builders all the time in the ecosystem, but we do need that next wave. We haven't seen the excitement wave of developers coming in looking for new things they can do. It seems to be a lot of the existing builders who have just stuck around so far. So we will be making a big push the second half of next year for more builders. And we see the whole industry heading towards integrations. That's a core feature of Neptune is its composability and how it can be integrated into other products. And we're looking at ways to get Neptune's lend side integrated into wallets or centralized exchanges or anything where it makes sense to have a button that says lend your injective or lend your atom right there, and it could be working with Neptune. We're already partnering with the injective ecosystem for some pretty exciting integrations, and we'll be looking to expand beyond injective later in 2025, Q3 or Q4.
Fantastic. Definitely going to be an exciting year ahead. Sounds like an exciting year planned for you guys in particular. Lots sort of going on, spread out throughout the year. I'm buzzing for next year. Like, I just think, the whole sort of scene is going to really blow up, and I'm hoping that, that translates into attracting more people into the space as well. Which is one of the reasons I started the podcast to, try and spread the word of, fantastic businesses like yourself that are out there and the cool stuff that you guys are working on. Finally, Chase, what advice would you give to entrepreneurs or developers that are looking to innovate in the DeFi space? What would you say are the key, or what's the key to building something impactful in your opinion?
That's a really good question. One of my favorites, actually, because I see a lot of builders and other entrepreneurs, especially on the developer side, they try to ask for a job first. They think that they're interested and their interest alone is going to be enough to get them a role. But we're busy. Projects like ours, where we're deep into our own projects, we have a pretty good idea of our entire tech stack, and hiring someone green or bringing on someone new is actually quite difficult. And if it slows down the whole team, it probably just won't happen. So
Sure.
you need some hands-on experience on the developer side, actually getting yourself into the code and putting together something that's useful in some way, shape, or form. That is probably the easiest way to get a conversation with the team. And from there, you can learn more and figure out what the team's needs are and maybe start building towards their future needs. And then from there, you either have a good opportunity to create an integration or perhaps to join the team. That's on the developer side. On the entrepreneur side, similar advice. Definitely get deep into the projects and try to understand their problems as effectively as possible and get started. Sitting on the sidelines and thinking and asking and trying to wait for someone else to throw you into the industry is the slowest way to do it. There's no reason, nothing holding you back in this industry, which is one of the most exciting things about being part of the Web3 ecosystem. Is it's all there, it's all open. You can ask. There's chatbots galore that can help get you started and get the first few steps out of the way. And there's still a lot of opportunities. There's so much growth going in different chains and things expanding that there's lots of services and problems that arise from that you need to help solve, whether it's on the insurance side or security side, or making money through some sort of arbitrage or some sort of bot. There's so many directions that you can take it that I feel like I keep seeing people ask, how do I get started? How do I move forward? Just pick a project, find something you're interested in, and just build something and go from there.
100%. I couldn't agree more. It's about grabbing the bull by the horns and, doing something or creating something that's going to be impactful and show that you have that passion and dedication to want to invest your time into the space to then in turn get one of the companies to invest in you as well. Thanks so much. That was really good advice, actually. Walking us through Neptune Finance, sort of an innovative approach to DeFi lending, and of course, sharing as well how your protocol is pushing the boundaries of efficiency and transparency as well. Pleasure to have you on. For our listeners, make sure to check out Neptune Finance and at nept.finance, I believe, and follow them for updates on their TGE and more exciting developments. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Web3 Insights for more conversations with Web3 leaders shaping the space. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much, Chase.
Thanks, Aaron.